"She is coming home with me," the stranger said, and every person in the great hall bowed except Emma Carter. She stood beneath towering black and silver banners with rain still darkening the shoulders of her borrowed coat. Hundreds of unfamiliar faces watched from stone balconies. Some looked shocked. Others looked offended. A blonde woman in a silver gown blocked the staircase and stared at Emma as though she had crossed a sacred line. "Humans are not permitted beyond the royal gates," the woman said. Emma turned toward the man beside her. 3 days earlier, he had stood in a dark forest and ordered her to stay away. Now guards lowered their heads when he passed. Warriors stepped aside without being told. Only then did Emma understand that Adrian Blackwood was not merely an alpha. He was their king. The realization should have made her feel protected. Instead, it made every secret he had kept feel heavier. Adrian moved half a step closer, not touching her, but placing himself between Emma and the watching crowd. "She entered by choice," he said. "She will be treated with respect." A cold murmur moved through the hall. Emma noticed another man standing near the throne, his expression calm, his eyes fixed on her with unsettling interest. A silver wolf crest gleamed at his collar. She had seen that symbol before, burned into the corner of a letter carrying her mother's name. Then the memory shifted. 3 nights earlier, rain had hammered the windshield of Emma's car as she drove through Blackwood Forest after a late shift at the clinic. The road curved between tall pines, empty for miles. Her headlights caught a man standing in the center of the pavement. Emma hit the brakes. The car stopped less than 15 feet from him. He did not move. Water streamed from his black hair and soaked the long coat hanging from his broad shoulders. One hand pressed against his side, but his posture remained strangely controlled. Emma lowered the window. "Are you hurt?" His face turned toward her. Strong jaw, pale skin, eyes that appeared gray until the headlights struck them. Then they flashed silver. "Keep driving," he said. Emma reached for her phone. "I can call an ambulance." "No." The word was quiet, but every sound in the forest seemed to stop around it. Emma stepped out anyway, holding her medical bag above the rain. "You are standing in the middle of a road during a storm. I am not leaving until I know you can walk." He watched her approach with something that looked less like anger than fear. Not fear of her, fear for her. "Stay away from me," he warned. A low sound moved through the trees behind him. Emma froze. Between 2 dark trunks, a massive wolf-shaped shadow appeared. Then another. Adrian's breathing changed. His eyes brightened. Emma reached for his wrist to check his pulse. The moment her fingers touched him, the forest went silent. Every hidden shape lowered its head. Adrian stared at her hand as if she had just awakened something he had spent years trying to bury. Then he looked toward the darkness behind her. "Get back in the car," he said. "They know what you are now." Emma did not move. Rain ran down her face and gathered beneath the collar of her coat, but the cold felt distant compared with the silence surrounding them. The wolf-shaped shadows remained between the trees, heads lowered, bodies still. Adrian's pulse beat beneath her fingers, fast but controlled. "What am I?" she asked. His gaze shifted toward the forest. "Not something you should discuss here." "That is not an answer. It is the only one I can give you tonight." A branch moved behind her. Adrian stepped between Emma and the trees with such speed that she barely saw him move. He did not touch her. He simply placed his broad frame in front of her and lowered his voice. "Get in the car." This time, Emma listened. She backed toward the driver's door without looking away from him. The largest shadow lifted its head, eyes pale beneath the rain. Adrian turned slightly, and something passed through the forest without sound. A command. The wolves disappeared one by one. When Emma looked back from inside the car, Adrian was gone too. Only his black coat remained on the wet road. She drove home with it folded on the passenger seat, telling herself that exhaustion had distorted everything. Wolves did not bow to strangers. Men did not vanish into forests without tracks. Eyes did not change color beneath headlights. Yet the coat smelled of cedar, rain, and smoke, and the silver crest sewn inside the collar felt cold beneath her thumb. A crowned wolf. By morning, Emma had searched every local database she could access through the clinic. No Adrian Blackwood appeared in hospital records, county records, or emergency reports. She called the 2 hotels nearest the forest. Neither had a guest by that name. When she showed the crest to her adoptive father, Dr. Samuel Carter, the color drained from his face. "Where did you get this?" he asked. "From a man I found on Route 8. Samuel closed the curtains before answering. You need to forget him. Emma stared at him. You recognize the symbol. It belonged to an old family. What family? One that does not welcome questions. He took the coat from her hands and folded it too carefully. Promise me you will not go back into Blackwood Forest. Emma had spent years listening to Samuel explain difficult truths with patience. He had told families about diagnoses, losses, and uncertain futures without hiding behind vague words. Now he would not meet her eyes. Does this have something to do with my mother? She asked. Samuel's hand stopped. That was answer enough. Emma left the room before he could build another lie. An hour later, she returned quietly and found smoke drifting from the metal fireplace behind his office. A letter burned inside. Most of it had already curled into ash, but one corner remained untouched near the grate. Emma used the fireplace tongs to lift it free. The paper carried the same crowned wolf symbol. Beneath it, written in faded ink, were the words Evelyn Carter and the Blackwood King must never find her daughter. Emma's breath caught. Evelyn was the name on her birth certificate. The mother Samuel always claimed had died shortly after Emma was born. Footsteps sounded in the hallway. Emma folded the paper and slipped it into her pocket just as Samuel entered. His eyes went to the fireplace, then to her face. What did you see? He asked. Before she could answer, a dark vehicle stopped outside the clinic. Through the rain-streaked window, Emma saw Adrian step onto the sidewalk. No coat, no umbrella, and no hesitation. He looked directly at her office as if he had known exactly where to find her. Then the clinic door opened, and every dog in the waiting room fell silent. Adrian entered the clinic, and the room changed around him. Conversations faded. The dogs beneath the waiting room chairs lowered their heads. Even the rain against the windows seemed quieter. Emma stepped out of Samuel's office with the scorched letter hidden in her pocket and Adrian's black coat folded over one arm. His gray eyes found her immediately. You kept it, he said. You left it in the road. Emma held the coat toward him, but did not release it when he reached for it. Who is Evelyn Carter? Adrian's hand stopped. The stillness in his face told her the name meant something. Samuel appeared behind Emma. She does not know anything, he said. Adrian looked past her. That was your decision, not hers. Emma turned toward Samuel. You told me my mother died. I told you what kept you safe. Safe from whom? Neither man answered. A child began crying near the examination rooms. His mother knelt beside him, trying to calm his breathing as thunder rolled over the town. Emma moved instinctively. She returned the coat to Adrian, crossed the waiting room, and crouched several feet from the child. Look at me, she said gently. Take one slow breath. Then another. The child followed her voice. His shoulders relaxed. The dogs lifted their heads. Behind Emma, Adrian inhaled sharply. She glanced back. Silver had spread through his eyes, but the tension in his jaw was gone. Whatever storm had been moving beneath his skin had quieted with the child. Adrian noticed her watching and turned away. Emma rose. That happened in the forest too. We should speak somewhere private. You have had 2 chances to tell me the truth. And both times, telling you would have placed you in greater danger. Emma touched the folded paper inside her pocket. Someone wrote that the Blackwood King must never find me. Are you that king? Samuel closed his eyes. Adrian looked at him first, then at Emma. Not here. The clinic door opened again. A tall man in a charcoal coat entered with 2 quiet attendants. A silver wolf crest gleamed at his collar. Emma recognized the symbol from the letter and Adrian's coat. The stranger smiled with formal warmth. Your Majesty, the council has been searching for you. Every uncertainty inside Emma narrowed into one clear truth. Adrian had lied by omission from the moment she found him. The stranger's attention shifted to her. And this must be Evelyn Carter's daughter. Adrian moved between them. Marcus. The warning in his voice was quiet. Marcus stopped several feet away. I only wish to introduce myself. You will leave. The council deserves to know why every wolf within 5 miles became silent last night. Emma looked from one man to the other. Wolves do not understand human voices. Marcus smiled. Ordinary wolves do not. Samuel reached for Emma's arm, but she stepped away. Someone needs to explain what is happening. Adrian faced her. For the first time, the control in his expression looked fragile. Your mother belonged to a line of people called listeners. They could reach the part of a wolf that words cannot touch. And you think I can do that? I know you can. Marcus watched them with open interest. Which means the old stories were true. Adrian's eyes turned silver. Enough. The lights flickered as thunder sounded above the building. For one instant, Emma heard something beneath the storm. Not outside. Inside Adrian. A distant wolf, restless and afraid. She spoke without thinking. You are safe. Adrian went completely still. The silver faded from his eyes. Marcus's smile disappeared. He had seen it too. Emma had calmed the Alpha King with 3 words. Adrian took his coat from her hands and lowered his voice. Go home. Lock every door. Do not follow anyone wearing that crest. Emma looked at Marcus, then back at him. That includes you. A shadow of regret crossed Adrian's face. Yes. He turned to leave, but Emma caught his sleeve. Did you know my mother? Adrian looked down at her hand, then met her eyes. No, the answer came too quickly. Beyond the clinic window, Marcus stood beside his vehicle and raised a phone to his ear. Emma could not hear his words, but she saw his gaze remain fixed on her. Adrian followed it and stepped closer to the glass. He knows where you are now, he said, and by nightfall, staying human may no longer be enough to protect you. Emma watched Marcus's vehicle disappear through the rain, but his warning remained in the clinic like a second shadow. By late afternoon, the storm had weakened to a steady drizzle. Samuel refused to answer more questions, and Adrian had already left through the rear entrance. Emma waited until the last patient was gone, then found a folded note beneath the windshield wiper of her car. Old Water Tower. 6 o'clock. Come alone. No signature. It did not need one. The tower stood at the edge of town, beyond an abandoned baseball field and a line of dripping pines. Emma arrived with the scorched letter in her coat pocket and her phone ready in one hand. Adrian waited beneath the rusted metal stairs. He wore the same black coat she had returned to him, the crowned wolf crest hidden beneath the collar. You should not have come, he said. You asked me to. I asked because Marcus will search your home first. Emma stopped several feet away. You told me to avoid everyone wearing that crest. Then you left me a note without a name. You still came. Because my mother's name is on a letter connected to your kingdom. Adrian looked toward the tree line before answering. Your mother helped my father 28 years ago. Emma felt the ground shift beneath the sentence. You said you did not know her. I did not. I was 12 when she disappeared. I knew the story, not the woman. Then tell me the story. Rain tapped against the metal tower above them. Adrian's jaw tightened. My father carried a wolf spirit that had become difficult to control. Evelyn could reach him when no alpha, healer, or council member could. She reminded him who he was. Emma remembered the forest falling silent beneath her touch. The child breathing with her voice. The silver leaving Adrian's eyes when she told him he was safe. You are saying werewolves are real? Yes. The answer came without drama. That made it more frightening. Emma looked at the woods and the shadows beside the road. Members of my guard. They bowed to me. They bowed because their wolves heard something in your voice. Emma almost laughed, but no sound came. Adrian stepped into the open and let the gray light reach his face. You asked for proof. His eyes changed first. Gray gave way to silver, bright and unnatural. The air around him seemed to tighten, carrying the scent of cedar and wet earth. Emma's fear rose before she could stop it. Adrian immediately stepped back. That is enough. The silver faded. He had shown her only what she could bear. What happens if you lose control? She asked. I leave before anyone is harmed. Is that why you warned me away? Adrian looked at her. No, thunder rolled far beyond the hills. His wolf stirred behind his eyes, but Emma sensed no threat in it. Only strain. Then why? Because my enemies will notice what you do to me. A cold realization passed through her. Marcus had not looked surprised when she calmed Adrian. He had looked confirmed. He was waiting to see if I could do it. Yes. And Samuel knew. He knew enough to hide you. Emma pulled the scorched letter from her pocket. This says the Blackwood King must never find Evelyn Carter's daughter. Adrian read the line without touching the paper. That was not written to protect you from me. How can you be sure? Because the handwriting belongs to my father. Emma stared at him. Your father wanted me hidden? He wanted Marcus to believe you were dead. The rain seemed colder. Adrian glanced toward the road. Headlights appeared beyond the trees, moving slowly toward the tower. More than one vehicle. They found us, he said. Emma looked at him. Who? His eyes turned silver again. The people who believe a listener should belong to the crown. The first vehicle stopped near the abandoned baseball field. Two more followed, their headlights cutting through the rain. Emma counted 6 figures stepping onto the road. None wore uniforms, but each carried the silver wolf crest at the throat. Adrian moved in front of her. Stay behind me. I thought you said they believed I belonged to the crown. They believe the crown belongs to them. Marcus emerged from the center vehicle beneath a dark umbrella. His expression remained calm, almost courteous. Your Majesty, he called. The council requests that Miss Carter enter protective custody. Emma looked at Adrian. Protective custody sounds voluntary. It is not. Marcus stopped near the edge of the field. The listener line has been absent for 27 years. Her return affects every pack under Blackwood law. She is not under your authority, Adrian said. She is human. For now. The words chilled Emma more than the rain. Adrian's shoulders tightened. Explain. Marcus looked at her. Your mother was not merely capable of calming wolves. She carried a dormant bond to the Blackwood royal line. That bond passes through blood. Emma thought of Samuel burning the letter, of Evelyn's name hidden for years. What does that mean? It means your presence can strengthen a king, expose a false bond, or awaken what has been buried in you. Adrian turned slightly, enough for Emma to see the anger beneath his control. You will not use her. Marcus smiled faintly. Then bring her before the council yourself. The figures behind him moved closer. Adrian's eyes flashed silver. The air changed. Emma felt the wolf inside him rise, not as a sound, but as pressure spreading through the wet field. The others stopped. He was holding them back without touching anyone. Yet she could also feel the strain in him. The same restless force she had sensed at the clinic was becoming louder. Emma stepped beside him. Adrian, go to the truck behind the tower, he said. The keys are inside. And you? I will delay them. That is not a plan. Marcus raised his voice. Miss Carter, the king is not telling you everything. His wolf has been unstable for years. Your ability does not only calm him. It binds him to you. Emma looked at Adrian. He did not deny it. Is that true? Not in the way he means. Then tell me the way you mean. Rain moved down Adrian's face. For one moment, king and strangers seemed to disappear, leaving only a man who had tried to push her away because he feared what his world would demand from her. When you speak to my wolf, it remembers restraint, he said. That is not ownership. It is trust. Marcus took another step. Trust becomes dependence. Dependence becomes power. Emma understood the choice Marcus wanted to create. Fear Adrian, or submit to the council. Neither felt like freedom. What happens if I go with you? She asked Marcus. You will be studied, protected, and trained. And if I refuse? His silence answered. Adrian looked at her. There is another way. Blackwood Castle. Yes. Where your council already controls the gates. Not all of them. He lowered his voice. There is a road through the eastern ridge. My father used it when he needed to move unseen. Emma remembered the letter written in his father's hand. The king must never find her daughter. Why should I trust your family? You should not. Not yet. Adrian stepped aside just enough to give her a clear path toward the road. But I can take you somewhere Marcus cannot reach without exposing himself. After that, you decide whether to stay. The pressure in the field shifted. One of Marcus's men looked toward the trees. Emma heard it then. Wolves moving through the rain, surrounding the clearing but not approaching. Adrian's guard, waiting for his command. Waiting for hers too. Marcus's calm finally broke. If she crosses into Blackwood territory, the old bond will awaken. Adrian kept his eyes on Emma. Only if she chooses to cross. Emma looked at the vehicles blocking the main road, then toward the dark eastern trail. Every lie in her life had been built by someone claiming to protect her. Adrian was the first person offering protection with an exit still open. She stepped toward the trail. Marcus called after her. Your mother made the same choice. Emma stopped. And where did it take her? Marcus lowered the umbrella. Home. Emma looked back at Marcus. Rain ran from the edge of his umbrella, but his face remained unreadable. What do you mean, home? She asked. Marcus glanced toward Adrian before answering. Your mother crossed into Blackwood territory 28 years ago. She did not come as a prisoner. She came because the royal line had called her. Adrian's expression hardened. You are twisting the truth. Then tell her the part your father buried. Emma felt the forest closing around the clearing, not with danger, but with attention. Wolves waited beyond the trees. Vehicles blocked the road behind her. The eastern trail disappeared into darkness ahead. Every direction seemed to belong to someone else. Enough, she said. Both men fell silent. Emma looked at Marcus first. You offered protection without consent. Then she turned to Adrian. You offered a choice while hiding half the truth. Adrian accepted the words without defending himself. You are right. The simple answer unsettled her more than an excuse would have. My father believed Evelyn's return would awaken an old bond between listeners and Blackwood kings, he continued. He feared the council would use her. So he helped Samuel hide you before anyone knew you existed. And my mother? She vanished before I learned where she went. Marcus smiled faintly. How convenient. Adrian ignored him. I do not know whether she is alive. I do know Marcus has searched for you since the night your mother disappeared. Emma looked toward the eastern trail. What is waiting at the end of that road? A gate into Blackwood territory, Adrian said. Beyond it, my guard can protect you. You will have your own room, your own key, and the right to leave if you choose. And the council? They will object. That is not the same as being powerless. No, his eyes turned briefly silver. But once you cross the boundary, they cannot pretend you are an ordinary human matter. They will have to answer publicly for what they have done. Emma understood then. Going with Adrian would not make her safe because his kingdom was gentle. It would make her visible enough that secrecy could no longer be used against her. That was a different kind of protection. Marcus stepped forward. Miss Carter, crossing that boundary may awaken abilities you cannot control. You keep saying may. Because no listener has crossed in nearly 3 decades. Then you do not know. His silence confirmed it. Emma moved toward the trail. Adrian fell into step beside her, leaving several feet between them. Behind them, Marcus ordered the vehicles moved, but the wolves in the forest answered with a low, unified sound. No one followed. The trail narrowed beneath the pines. Rain softened to mist. After half a mile, the trees opened around an old stone arch covered in silver moss. Symbols shaped like listening wolves had been carved into both pillars. Emma stopped before the boundary. Her skin tingled. A distant sound rose inside her mind. Not a voice, but many heartbeats moving together. Can they hear me? She asked. Adrian stood on the other side of the arch. Only if you choose to speak. Emma looked back once. Marcus remained far down the trail, watching from the darkness. Samuel's burned letter rested against her pocket. Evelyn's name felt heavier than ever. What happens if I cross? The kingdom will know a listener has returned. And what happens to you? Adrian's gaze held hers. My wolf will know whether you came willingly. Emma took one breath, then stepped beneath the arch. Silver light moved across the carved stones. Every wolf in the forest lifted its head. Adrian closed his eyes as if something old had finally found him. When he opened them, the silver was calm. Welcome home, he said. Emma looked past him toward the distant lights of Blackwood Castle. High above the trees, the royal bells began to ring, though no human hand had touched them. The bells continued as Emma followed Adrian along the stone road toward Blackwood Castle. Their sound rolled across the valley, deep and measured, answered by distant howls that never came close. Lanterns burned along the walls ahead. Guards stood beneath the gatehouse in dark uniforms, and every one of them lowered their head when Adrian approached. Emma slowed. She had seen respect before. This was something larger. You said this was your territory, she said. Adrian looked at her. It is. You did not say every guard would bow. He was silent for half a step. Emma. She stopped beneath the lantern light. What are you not telling me now? A mounted patrol emerged from the lower road. The riders dismounted at once, fists pressed over their hearts. Your Majesty, their captain said. The title settled between Emma and Adrian like a door closing. She stared at him. The stranger from the rain. The man at the clinic. The one who had warned her away and asked her to cross willingly. He was the Alpha King. You let me believe you were only part of this world, she said. I was trying to get you across the boundary before Marcus could stop us. That explains the timing. It does not excuse the lie. Adrian accepted the words without protest. No, it does not. Emma turned toward the arch behind them. The silver moss still glowed faintly along the stones. Beyond it, the forest had gone dark and quiet. She could leave. Adrian had promised that. Her body leaned toward the road home, but then something changed beside her. Adrian's breathing became uneven. The silver in his eyes returned, brighter this time. The guard stepped back, not from him, but to give him space. He turned away from Emma and gripped the stone railing along the road. Go inside, he said. I will follow. Emma sensed the wolf beneath his voice. It was not reaching for her. It was folding inward, strained by the bells, the boundary, and whatever bond had awakened when she crossed. You are losing control. I am maintaining it. Barely. He closed his eyes. This is why I told you to stay away. The truth in his voice stopped her. Adrian had not feared what he might take from her. He had feared what his world might demand once it learned she could quiet him. Emma stepped closer, but remained several feet away. Look at me. His shoulders tightened. Emma, you gave me a choice at the gate. I am giving you one now. Listen, or keep fighting alone. The guards looked toward her, uncertain. Adrian turned slowly. His eyes were almost entirely silver. Emma remembered the child at the clinic. One breath, then another. You are here, she said. You know where you are. The bells are only sound. The wolf is part of you, not your master. The tension in the air eased. Adrian's grip loosened. His eyes returned to gray. No one spoke. Emma understood why Marcus wanted control of her ability. In the wrong hands, it could become a leash. In hers, it was only an open door. Adrian straightened. You should go back while you still can. Emma looked toward the distant gate. I am still angry with you. You should be. And I do not trust your counsel. Neither do I. But I crossed because I wanted answers. She stepped toward the castle. So I am staying long enough to get them. Adrian walked beside her, keeping the same respectful distance. The main gates opened before them. Inside the outer courtyard, dozens of wolves in human form waited beneath black and silver banners. At the top of the wide staircase stood a blonde woman in a silver gown, beautiful, composed, and clearly furious. You brought a human through the royal boundary, she said. Emma felt every face turn toward her. Adrian's voice became the voice of a king. I brought a guest under my protection. The woman descended one step. Then send her to the lower residence. Humans do not enter the royal hall. Emma looked at Adrian. This was the moment from the beginning. The moment when secrecy ended. He stepped beside her before the entire court. She is coming home with me, he said. Then the woman's gaze fell on Emma's pocket, where the scorched letter rested, and all color left her face. That seal, she whispered. It belonged to Evelyn Carter. The blonde woman descended another step, her eyes fixed on the scorched seal in Emma's pocket. Around them, the courtyard had gone silent. Adrian remained beside Emma, not in front of her. The distinction mattered. He was ready to protect her, but he was not hiding her. Victoria, he said, how do you know that seal? The woman's composure returned too slowly. Everyone in the royal court knew Evelyn Carter's name. Emma drew the burned letter from her pocket. The crowned wolf symbol was dark at the edges, but still visible. My father tried to destroy this. Samuel Carter was told to. Victoria's answer came before she could stop it. Adrian's gaze sharpened. By whom? Victoria looked toward the castle doors. This conversation should not happen outside. It should happen wherever Emma chooses, Adrian said. Every wolf nearby heard him. Emma felt their attention shift from suspicion to surprise. Power in this place usually sounded like command. Adrian was using his to make room. Emma unfolded the letter. Then I choose here. Who told Samuel to hide me? Victoria's jaw tightened. The former king. Adrian's father? Yes. Why? Victoria looked at Adrian as though asking permission to remain silent. He gave none. Because Evelyn was the last listener connected to Blackwood, she said. And because the council feared what her daughter might become. Emma glanced at Marcus's silver crest in her memory. What did they think I would become? A witness. The word moved through the courtyard. Not a weapon. Not a healer. A witness. Adrian seemed to understand before Emma did. Listeners could hear more than wolf spirits, he said slowly. They could recognize false loyalty. Victoria nodded. Evelyn uncovered a faction inside the council 28 years ago. Men who wanted the king weakened, dependent, and easy to replace. Emma looked toward the royal hall. Marcus. His father began it. Marcus continued it. The bells above the castle rang once, deep enough to stir the air. Emma felt a distant pressure behind her thoughts, like many voices waiting just beyond a closed door. Adrian noticed her expression. What do you hear? Not words. She pressed one hand against the letter. Something inside the castle. Victoria stepped back. The archive chamber. Adrian turned toward her. It was sealed after Evelyn disappeared. Not sealed, Victoria said, bound to a listener's voice. Emma looked at the wide staircase, at the black doors, at the wolves who had spent years living around a truth no one could reach. Then take me there. Victoria shook her head. The council will never allow it. Adrian's voice became cold. The council does not decide whether she hears her own history. He offered Emma his hand, but did not touch her. She looked at it, then at him. You still owe me the truth about your wolf. I do. And about the old bond. Yes. No more half answers. No more. Emma placed her hand in his. The contact was steady, nothing more. Together, they entered Blackwood Castle. The great hall rose around them in stone, silver, and firelight. Hundreds of wolves bowed as Adrian passed, but Emma kept her eyes on the far wall. A soft sound came from behind it. A woman humming. The melody was familiar. Samuel had sung it when Emma was a child. Victoria stopped beside a narrow archway covered in carved wolves. The archive is beyond this door. Emma stepped closer. The crown seal on her letter began to glow. Adrian stayed at her side. You do not have to open it tonight. Emma listened to the hidden melody. For the first time, she was certain it was not a memory. Yes, she said. I do. She placed her palm against the stone. The humming stopped. Then a woman's voice spoke from the other side. Emma, if you can hear me, Marcus has already found you. The stone door opened with a sound like a long-held breath. Cold air moved through the archway, carrying the scent of cedar, dust, and something faintly floral. Emma knew it before she understood why. Her mother had worn that scent. The hidden chamber beyond was circular, lined with shelves and silver-bound records. At its center stood a portrait of Evelyn Carter beside Adrian's father. Evelyn looked older than the single photograph Samuel had kept, but her green eyes were unmistakable. One hand rested over a carved wolf symbol. The other held a small recording stone that now glowed beneath Emma's touch. Evelyn's voice filled the chamber. If Marcus has found you, then he has already told you that listeners belong to the crown. That is his first lie. Emma held Adrian's hand more tightly. He did not move closer. He simply remained where she had chosen to place him. Listeners were never servants, Evelyn continued. We were witnesses. We heard the difference between loyalty and fear, between a king who protected his people and a ruler who protected only power. Images formed above the recording stone. Adrian's father stood before the council while a younger Marcus watched from the shadows. Evelyn placed her palm against the king's chest, then turned toward the council. The sickness is not inside him, she said in the memory. It is being fed by those nearest the throne. Marcus's father stepped away first. Others followed. Emma felt the room grow colder. They wanted the royal wolf unstable, Evelyn's voice explained. A frightened kingdom accepts any chain offered as protection. Adrian's jaw tightened, but he did not look away. The next image showed Evelyn leaving Blackwood Castle with Samuel beside her. She carried an infant wrapped in a pale blanket. Emma, I chose to hide you because your gift must awaken through compassion, never command. Samuel promised to give you a human life until you were ready to hear the truth. Emma swallowed. Samuel had lied, but not every lie had come from selfishness. Some had grown from fear. The final image revealed Marcus standing before the sealed chamber years later, unable to open it. He will try to convince you that your voice controls wolves, Evelyn said. It does not. You remind them that they still have a choice. The recording dimmed. Emma stared at her mother's portrait. Is she alive? She whispered. A line of silver writing appeared beneath the frame. The last listener waits where the northern bells cannot ring. Victoria inhaled sharply. Northwatch Sanctuary. Adrian turned toward her. You know it. It was abandoned 20 years ago. Or hidden, Emma said. Footsteps echoed beyond the archive. Royal guards entered with Logan Pierce at their head. Your Majesty, Marcus has crossed the southern boundary, Logan reported. He is calling an emergency council and claiming the human listener has compromised the crown. Emma looked at Adrian. He is using me to challenge you. He is using fear, Adrian said. Just as his father did. The great hall was filled when they returned. Pack leaders stood beneath the banners. Marcus appeared through a silver projection at the far end, speaking from outside Blackwood territory. The human must be surrendered for examination, he declared. The Alpha King's judgment is no longer reliable. Murmurs spread across the hall. Adrian stepped forward, but Emma touched his sleeve. Let me. He stopped. Emma faced the court. Her heart pounded, yet every wolf in the room grew quiet when she spoke. I did not come here to control your king. I came because men like Marcus spent 28 years hiding what my mother discovered. She held up the recording stone. A listener does not command a wolf. She reveals whether fear is being used to command everyone else. Marcus's projection flickered. She is manipulating you now. Emma looked at the gathered wolves. Then choose for yourselves. Listen to him. Listen to me. Decide which voice is asking for obedience and which one is asking for truth. Silence followed. One pack leader stepped away from Marcus's image. Then another. The projection faded. Adrian stood beside Emma before the entire kingdom. She remains here by her own choice, he said. She is protected by the crown, but she belongs to no one. Emma looked toward the portrait chamber, then north beyond the castle walls. Adrian had brought her home to keep her safe. By sunrise, they would leave together to find the woman who had hidden her from a kingdom and the truth that could decide whether its king deserved to remain.